I feel like this is a trashier version of the Criterion Closet segments I see on Instagram or YouTube. You know, where they go through the closet.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I'm just like, I don't know what these
B-movie store. Yeah.
My name's Eryn temp3st. I'm an artist. I work in kind of across disciplines, but my background is in dance. And I work with like sound and video and new media stuff. And I love movies, so we're in the lobby. And I guess I'll go around and find some movies that I like. So I really enjoyed the first Hellraiser. I thought that was a pretty nutty practical effects kind of depiction of the guy. I forget his name. What's his name? Like
Clive. I know the director.
No, the monster guy.
Pinhead.
Yeah. Or he has like a regular name as well. It's like I forget too. Anyways, but his like the way that his body is sort of built up with like dripping stuff, and it's very grotesque and bodily, but also like stop motion. I thought that was really cool, and I really like this like mixed media vibe, I think. So I love like these kind of older 80s horror movies. I love John Carpenter. I love The Thing, which is somewhere else. But yeah, I think any movie that uses like practical effects and like real world materialities to depict like the human body going through these weird like transformations through kind of states that are like impossible, I think. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What genres do you kind of match with?
I these days I exclusively watch horror movies and like sci-fi. But I really like horror because I think I don't know, something like maybe I'm old enough that I've seen enough movies to like have learned the what's it called? Anyways, like the general sort of like arc of a movie, and I find them kind of boring. And horror movies like definitely are like formulaic, but they're super engaging. They're like made to be like super immersive and engaging. I kind of like this movie. Maybe that's kind of cheesy, but I thought that this was like a fun watch. I love John Cusack. I'm just gonna say it. I think he's dope. Yeah, he's got a cool energy. He's like kind of frantic. He's got like a great face. Like his face is just sort of weird, but like nice to look at. I don't know. He's got a real special place in my heart. Stigmata was fun. I rewatched this recently. It's like totally nuts, but I like that one kind of because it's kind of like sensual and sultry, but also like way over the top, which is always kind of neat to. There's a movie that I have been thinking about ever since I saw it. I don't see it here, but it's a Wes Craven movie called Shocker. Do you have that? Do you
Just sold it actually.
Damn.
It was a beautiful 3-pack with People Under the Stairs and Serpent the Rainbow.
Oh wow, wow. That was a good one too. Yeah, Shocker is a really good one if you haven't seen that, with the beloved Mitch Pileggi in the title role. Obviously Mitch Pileggi being from X-Files, which is like my favorite show. And it's like another kind of cool mixed media film, basically about television.
I saw Longlegs down there in theaters. I remember they did a free screening for students a while back, and I didn't think much of it. I know that a lot of people loved it, but it kind of just didn't work out for me after a while because that twist that they do, have you seen it?
Yeah.
That twist that they do almost by the end of it kind of ruins everything. Like, I was joking to my friend, like, oh yeah, Satan's the bad guy or whatever. And it came true, and like, it wasn't like a funny, haha, oh I got it right. It was more of just like a, why?
Yeah. I didn't like it either. I thought it was also kind of lazy and relied a lot on like aesthetic in a way that I don't like. I see that a lot. I feel like I'm seeing that more and more. But yeah, I didn't like that one either.
The last time you were shocked in a theater, like you genuinely went to a theatrical experience and you were shocked?
I really was super smitten with Color Out of Space. That movie with Nicolas Cage.
I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
I saw that one in Montreal, and that, like, yeah, that's that movie, shocker, those movies, I kind of came out of seeing them just being like, those are my new favorite movies. They're so good. I also saw, I actually saw The Abyss recently. They did like I guess a re-release, and I saw it at like Southgate or whatever, Southgate.
Oh, South Edmonton.
South Edmonton, at the movie theater there, which is like such a great theater because they have the nice seats. And I really enjoyed that. That's a sick movie.
I love the fact that, like, looking into it, what's it called? I've never seen it, but I just like the fact that, what he did? He got like a big tub and then filled it with water.
Yes.
And then the entire movie takes place in like this big set, which is just a tub.
I know.
It's kind of insane to think of.
It's
like,
crazy.
But
The Abyss that's like a nuts story.
It is.
You know, and they had to like decompress before they would like return to the surface of they were like deep enough for long enough that they had to like do like a slow decompression rising back to the top of the water, or they would have gotten the bends or whatever. And then the oxygen liquid in that movie is freaking real, and they actually used it on the rat.
I have not seen the movie. I'm sorry to
Okay.
disappoint you.
No,
Like, I know all the details.
You should watch it. It's
I
excellent.
will. I'll get on that.
Oh, good.
This is a funny movie. I can't really remember it that well, but it's like kind of goofy and fun. I think it's like they're trying to break into a computer. It has something to do with computers. It's just funny the way that like older movies depict computer stuff. Like they're just like throwing around words like mainframe and like whatever.
And the hacking seemed funner than it was.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, it's so funny now that we're all like totally interfacing and like enmeshed with technology all the time, to look at like the weird technologies that like, you know, for example in the X-Files, or like even like Law and Order, like shows like that where they're like, oh, we have this new forensic tool, and it's just like somebody made basically a video that would play on a computer screen that's just like this like weird like, oh, we can match the fingerprints, you know, here's this thing, and it's like, oh, we'll expand it, and it's just like this stuff that's so niche and so specific, and it's like we don't have that today. That's actually like not how computers work. And like, you know, I just saw this one and I remember watching this. This is Gretzky and his teammates back in the CU of the Oilers too.
Yes.
And I just recently saw that Gretzky is like a Trump supporter, so that's really too bad. But this is a funny movie to watch. Very, very endearing of the boys. What are these movies? Obviously It Follows was really great. We want these things on the big screen again. Yes.
You go to the Metro at all when you're in town?
Yeah, totally. Actually, my friend is the programmer at the Metro.
Oh, Heather?
Yeah, I'm sure that you know Heather.
It went from alternative video to Videodrome.
Yeah.
And then that was great.
I don't know if I've seen this one, but it looks great. Come to Daddy was weird and fun. Candyman. Candyman is great.
The original?
The freaking original, definitely. Yeah. Oh my god, Dante's Peak. Have you seen this movie?
No, I think there's some, like, the behind the scenes is insane. That's maybe what I've heard.
I haven't seen I believe that though. I watched this when I was a kid, and it's like, there's one scene where they're in like an acid lake, and the grandma like sacrifices herself to get them to safety, and it's extremely grotesque.
That sounds cool.
Or it was very grotesque when I watched it and I was like a child. Media is really different now. The way that it's sort of consumed is really different.
Cronenberg?
Oh yeah, I love Cronenberg.
Body horror kind of.
This one, I did see this one. I didn't like this one very much. Actually, I think my favorite Cronenberg is Dead Ringers. Existence, the custom controllers are so cool. The art direction is always like totally on it. I really liked Rambo. And I'm a huge Rocky fan. I really like the Rocky franchise.
Rocky Horror?
Yeah.
Great.
That's awesome. I think I've only seen it a couple times. I've never actually like seen it in theaters. I'm a virgin.
I haven't seen it in theaters either. I saw it on my own time just to like know what was going on.
Just to see it, totally. Obviously, Poltergeist is a masterpiece. Like, I really like supernatural, paranormal kinds of horror movies, personally.
Did you see Blair Witch Project in theaters?
I didn't, because I wasn't really into that kind of movie back then, but I did see it after, and like, it's really good.
Do you know the story about how like the kid on the Poltergeist set got like choked or something, and they almost killed him?
There's a lot of stories. Wasn't really with that one. I mean, Poltergeist was filled with tragedy, of course.
Yeah.
The oldest sister, the actress, she was killed by her boyfriend in real life before the movie came out. He was stalking her, yeah. We all know about Caroline.
Yeah.
She died halfway through the filming of Poltergeist 3.
Of a very rare.
Yeah, it was like she had Crohn's, but it was like an intestinal disease because her family apparently grew up. They used like well water,
oh wow,
and that's what it was. And then of course Poltergeist 2. I mean, the fact that Reverend Kane, easily the most traumatizing '80s character that wasn't Jason or Freddy, he was dying of cancer in that movie. That's why he had the look he did. He passed on, and so did the indigenous actor that was the shaman. They both passed away before the movie came out as well.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and then of course the big thing, how they use real skeletons in the swimming pool scene.
Oh yeah.
But people lose their minds, like, oh my God, how could they do that? I'm like, hey guys, if you watch a movie from the 40s or 50s and you see a skeleton, no prop guy made that, okay?
Totally.
They totally sold skeletons back then for movies. It's not the first time. Watch the Hungarian movie Taxidermy. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't. 3
stories about a father as 3 generational things. The movie opens up World War I, and the first character pisses fire out of his dick. So you're like,
nice.
Okay.
Great start.
The last story is with the grandson who decides to taxidermy himself while he's alive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I have been thinking about this, and I think that the human body, I think that that bodies in general are the gold standard that we are so far from, at least in terms of like technological advancement. I think limitations are like guides, and without them you don't really know what you're doing. You need parameters to have something to push up against and to know what you're working on. So no, for me it's not a limit. I mean, or it's a limitation in the sense that it's providing some kind of guidance or like a material sort of like place to start and like place to return to. But I think that the experience of, I guess, consciousness or life or whatever is, grounded in embodiment, and how you are embodied determines, sort of the shape of your consciousness and the shape of your conscious experience. And I don't really think that there's like much outside of materiality and bodies. And I think it's really easy to forget because technology seems so slick and so advanced, and like, I don't know, it's like promises so much to us in terms of like convenience and, I don't know, whatever, like eternal life or some kind of weird version of that. It's really easy to forget that actually the body is like the most sophisticated technology, and the things that our bodies can do, like that technology really requires like huge amounts of energy and technologists and like code, and like just requires so much sort of like back end stuff to make that kind of thing happen. And like in many cases we're just not even there. There's no contest, I mean, teleportation would be really cool, obviously. Travel is real annoying, and I guess in my life right now I'm traveling a lot, and I'm going to school outside of Edmonton, so I'm away from my family and my partner and my cats, and I wish I could just like go back and forth. That would be really cool. But I think what I really wish is that we had more robust like technologies for healing. I think, like I said, the human body is just like so sophisticated, and the things that change as you get older, like there's just nothing that can really like return you to your original state of health or energy or whatever, and I think that's what I would want to exist, even though it's kind of boring. Or yeah, I don't know, being able to move things far away would be pretty cool. I don't know, I think prognosis is bleak. I don't know. I mean, I don't claim to be like I don't understand a lot of the super new fangled technology that's going on right now. I definitely feel very sick to my stomach about AI. And I don't see people taking action with regards to climate change and like globalization and like colonialism, and so I don't feel very optimistic, but we have to stay optimistic because that's actually really important. In order, hope is the thing that opens us all to miracles. So I would like to think that at the last minute something will happen and it'll all click for all of the people in power, and we'll fix everything. But I do think that people are like you were talking about young people, like this like motivation to have a return to physical media. Like I think there's kind of like a saturation point with this like cloud computing and like this ethereal sort of digitization of all kind of information and media and things like that will maybe bring us to a better focus on materiality, which I guess I've been talking a lot about, and a focus on like the materiality and like the physicality of the world around us is really important. And I do think that there's like been a turn, like a post-human turn, to look at the intelligence of non-human living things and also just like the liveliness of matter in a way that will maybe hopefully bring us away from the anthropocentrism that is like part of the driving force of colonialism and climate change. But man, I want there to be a bit more fire kind of and a bit more power coming from the philosophers and the artists and the scientists, and then I think we'd be fine.
Maybe the philosophers are just asleep right now.
I don't think they're asleep. I just think they're well, maybe they're just not thinking about the application of what they do strongly enough, but the policy is just not following, unfortunately. I don't know if it ever did, but
Are you keen on rebellion, class struggle or whatnot?
Totally, yes, totally. It's important to protest, and it's important to push back and to make your voice heard. I think there's a lot of different ways that happens. I haven't like seen the most of it. I've seen some of it, and I think that protest does like do something. And it is important, and I just have also seen like time and time again that you don't know what's possible. You just don't know what's possible, and it can look like nothing is possible, and it can look like everything is impossible, but then you're kind of like engaged in collective action and things give way that you didn't expect to give way, and it's like you just don't know. So you kind of, it's like a real like sort of secular act of faith, which is cool. The future is unwritten, so wait, is that like a
That's cool.
Cloudy.